Hi, welcome to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Now it's my turn to show you the work that my group does. My name is Marcel Schreier. I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering. You can reach me at marcel.schreier@wisc.edu, and you can check out our website at www.engineered-interfaces.org. I'm originally from Switzerland and did a lot of my education in Switzerland at EPFL and at ETH Zurich, but was in and out of the United States, did a large part of my master's at Caltech and did my postdoc at MIT. What drives my academic interest is understanding how electrochemical interfaces work and tuning their properties to make them do the reactions that we really care about. So my group focuses on electrocatalysis, the understanding of electrochemical interfaces, and employing electrocatalytic technologies towards solving large-scale problems in energy systems and sustainability. What really brings me here is that I very much like the city of Madison. I think it's a fantastic place to live in. It's a vibrant city and it's a beautiful natural environment. This is what I like most about being here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. What also really gets me up in the morning and excited to come to work are my students who are driven and a lot of fun to work with. Here they are. This is our team. We are a young group. We have a cohort of second-year students, Christine Lucky and Harshal Bakshi, and we were joined this year by Zach Oliver. This fall, we will be taking on graduate students, and you could be part of our team. Now, what will you be doing if you join our group? What we really are tackling is the problem of sustainability in chemical transformations. Chemical processes produce all the goods that make up our daily life. However, they are highly unsustainable and play a huge role in emitting greenhouse gases and driving climate change. And this has led within the chemical industry actually to the recognition that we need to find ways to make the chemical industry more climate friendly. So how do we do this? When we look at reactions that take place in the chemical industry, they often involve fairly complicated chemical transformations. For example, the synthesis of hydrocarbons, the transformation of hydrocarbons into more valuable species, as well as the combustion of hydrocarbons, where we withdraw energy that is stored in hydrocarbon bonds. Nowadays, all these industrial transformations are either supplied with energy in the form of heat derived from fossil resources, or heat is withdrawn from them if the reactions are exothermal. All of this leads to a chemical industry that relies on fossil driving forces, which are fundamentally unsustainable. So as we go to a greener chemical industry, our group is asking the question, how can we replace heat as a driving force with fully sustainable, renewable electricity? Renewable electricity is increasingly abundant, and its price has dropped to a point where even industry is coming to us and is asking, like, how can we use this resource to drive our transformations? And that's where our group comes in. We built the fundamental framework for driving complex chemical transformations using electricity instead of heat, and are thereby revolutionizing the way chemical transformations are done and opening completely new pathways to store renewable electricity in new chemical transformations. This allows us, for example, to tackle very complex chemical reactions. For example, the transformation of CH, CC, and CO bonds, which allows us to use electricity to synthesize hydrocarbons But then to also use these electrochemically synthesized hydrocarbons in hydrocarbon fuel cells, where we develop catalysts that allow us to directly withdraw the energy that is stored in hydrocarbon bonds. We develop technologies and catalysts to functionalize methane into more complex chemicals. We develop catalysts that allow us to use electricity to drive dehydrogenations, the synthesis of haloalkanes, and eventually the synthesis of complex organic molecules such as pharmaceuticals. To do this, we develop and rely on a very strong fundamental understanding of what takes place at electrochemical interfaces. We look at this cell and we ask, what is really happening in here? How are electrons transferred from an electrode surface to a species in solution? How do electrolyte molecules structure within the interface and thereby stabilize species at the surface, one more relative to another? How does an electric field control the rate of chemical reactions that take place at electrocatalyst surfaces? And how can we use all of this knowledge that is based on the structure of electrochemical interfaces to control the adsorption of charged species, the adsorption of uncharged species, desorption processes, and any other elementary steps that are relevant to catalysis? To show you a little bit how we are thinking, I want to show a quick research example. It is possible to use electricity to transform carbon dioxide to species such as methane. We know that this takes place in a multi-step sequence from CO2 to CO, and CO which is then transformed to methane. While we understand how CO2 gets to CO, we absolutely do not understand how CO can actually be further transformed to methane using electricity as a driving force. And since we don't understand how this reaction works, we also don't know how to make it better. Our group relies on a strong fundamental understanding of how electrochemical interfaces drive kinetic processes and how the properties of interfaces influence kinetic behavior. And using this understanding, we can then go and probe these questions. How does this reaction take place? When we analyze the kinetics of the production of methane, we can actually find that the rate-limiting step of this reaction does not involve any electrochemistry. So you heard me correctly. We are looking at an electrochemical transformation, CO to methane. But our experiments show that the rate-limiting step of this reaction is completely non-electrochemical. It does not involve an electron transfer. So how is it possible that we are electrochemically transforming CO to methane, but the rate-limiting step is not electrochemical? Well, if we combine this finding with other kinetic data, for example, the partial pressure dependence of the methane production rate, we can show something really striking. We find that the rate-limiting step of the synthesis, the electrochemical synthesis of methane from CO, consists in a purely chemical, standard, normal catalytic reaction on the surface. It is the reaction between a bound CO and a bound hydrogen species to form an intermediate that then is transformed to methane. This reaction is purely chemical in nature. You see no electron transfer occurring here. So this is a reaction you would classically see in normal heterogeneous catalysis. So what does electrochemistry do here? In this specific example, electrochemistry does nothing else than generate a surface species, an adsorbed hydrogen atom on the catalyst surface. This hydrogen atom is generated by an electron transfer to a proton donor. So we have H plus from this acid. H plus is donated, takes up an electron, and forms a surface hydrogen atom. And once this surface hydrogen atom is present on our catalyst, it will simply start reacting with CO molecules that adsorb and enter into a hydrogenation cascade leading to methane. So you can see how electrocatalysis works. It's a complex interplay between electron transfer reactions, chemical reactions, and all the effects that the structure of the electrochemical interface has in controlling this reactivity. This is how our group tackles these problems. And by gaining a fundamental understanding of how electrochemical reactions, electrocatalytic reactions really work, we can then use this knowledge towards the design of better catalysts, for example, for the synthesis of methane from CO2, which is one of the projects that the student in my group is currently tackling. Obviously, this is very little and only a short sneak peek of the things that our group is doing, which is indeed much more comprehensive. But I'm very happy to discuss with you more in detail. And you can contact me at marcel.schreier@wisc.edu. And you can check out our website at www.engineered-interfaces.org. I look forward to being in touch with you.